Nigerians go around to other countries and pretend to be us to get better treatment.
They go around Europe and Asia pretending to be Black American to get treated better.
Until I realized it's because they have certain benefits that come with being a Black American.
Being in a place where I wanted to forget I was even Nigerian. To be honest, I wasn't proud to be Nigerian, bro.
So you're telling me the reputation of Nigerians are so bad that they ban Nigerians in other countries. So your solution is, instead of fixing your perception, whatever you got going on in Nigeria, you pretend to be us and to propagate a negative image of Black Americans around the globe. That's actually crazy.
Instead of fixing your country, fixing your behavior, they're so jealous of us that they go around to other countries, pretend to be us. And I understand this is a survival mechanism, you know, but the thing is, they're not us. And when they do some shit, Black Americans get blamed for it. You know what I mean? Because they're pretending to be us. And the thing is, we know the difference. How much do you have to hate yourself to do something like that? And that's why I say, I'm telling you, defos is dangerous. You feel me? And I know it ain't all you Nigerians, but y'all got the worst reputations in Africa. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I feel sorry for a lot of y'all. And I pray y'all can fix yourselves and fix your country. Because pretending to be a different people is not going to fix you. And this is why I say something's wrong with these folks.
All right, so you seeing these Nigerians, they're trying to cosplay Black Americans, not because they hate them, but because they want access. What does it mean? The world perceives a Black American as talented, advanced, intelligent. Now, with that perception, it makes many people who have dark skin color to fake their identity as Black Americans so that they can have access to opportunities, so that they can enter into rooms that are only meant for Black Americans. And this is not an exception to Nigerians. It happens to all Black people who are not Black Americans.
A lot of first-generation African children are completely confused and are suffering from a deep identity crisis. I'm going to give you an example, and I hope this works out, okay? Forgive me if I pronounce this tribe's name incorrectly. Imagine a Kenyan man who is Kikuyu is born in Nigeria, right? If that Kenyan man who is Kikuyu is born in Nigeria, can he now turn around and claim that he's Yoruba because he was born in Nigeria and has been surrounded by Yoruba people? No. Even though your parents, your Nigerian parents, had you in America, that does not automatically mean that you are African American because you adopted African American culture. You are Nigerian American. You are not Black American. Black American, African American is its own separate ethnic group. It does not apply to us simply because we are born in America. As a first-gen African child, you are your nation first, so Nigeria, Liberia, Ghana, Senegal, Ivory Coast, your nation first, and then American after. But African American does not mean an African person born in America.
If you gave me a test of 3 Black people, one of them is African, one of them is Caribbean, and one of them is African American, I could guess all 3 correctly. If you know, you know. If you know how to do it, you know. If you don't, I'm sorry. For me, the easiest to identify are Africans. They have very distinct features that make them African. It sets them apart from Caribbeans and African Americans. This may seem very weird, but African Americans move differently than Caribbeans and Africans. It's a whole different vibe that you get from the person, and it's very easy to identify. Personally, the hardest to identify are Caribbeans, but if you use process of elimination, they're not African American, they're not African, they gotta be Caribbean. They don't move a certain way, they don't look a certain way, so they gotta be from the island. As a Haitian, I can snipe a Haitian from anywhere. Haitians walk a certain way, they move a certain way, they speak a certain way, they look a certain way. Haitians are so easy to spot if you know. If you know, you know. And that's how Christian sees it.
Because normally when you think of a Black American, you don't really think of the fact that you're an American before you're Black. You think of the fact you're Black before you're American, because that's how it is in the United States, even though you've both been here since the 1600s. But when you get to Europe, you're American first, especially people hear your accent, they see the way you dress. And I can understand why some people would want those privileges, because it does make life a lot easier. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times like I've been in European countries and I've been able to get help just because I'm an American versus the Africans that were really struggling. There's been plenty of times where I've been able to skip lines, I've been able to meet people, I've been able to do pretty much whatever just on behalf of my passport. And it's not like there's a material difference between me and the other African there. Like, we're both pretty similar individuals, same age, like nothing's really started out. But people genuinely were just more happy that I was an American being a tourist there, and they thought that the African there was somebody that needed help, and nobody really likes to help people. So it resulted in a lot of them cosplaying Americans to get better treatment, and it's one of the craziest things ever. That's because Black American culture is American culture. Black Americans are Americans. This idea that they don't know where they came from America. My family's from Barbados and my mom's from New York. So I have a little bit of a weird take on this. Possibly weird, I don't know. But people that are Black American are Americans. Therefore, their culture is just American culture. It's like to say that it's a subsect of American culture. No, it's just American culture. Like, they're Americans. And this idea that they don't know where they came from America. Like, just because you can't go back 2,000 years to some place doesn't mean that you don't know where you're from. You are from where you are from. Like, they're American. Like, it's not that hard to understand. And I really don't like this idea that people say they don't know where they came from. Some niggas just came from Bankhead. Some niggas just came from Mississippi. Like, that is where they're from, and that is their culture. They are Americans. And Americans have a subsect, a lineation called Black Americans from their unique experiences. But all of that is still American culture. So the idea that they're not Americans is wrong and kind of insulting from that I gathered. And I can understand why. They're American. This country is theirs as much as it's anyone else's. This country belongs to Black Americans too. They are American. You can't send them anywhere.
So much of blackness is framed around the American experience and identity, right? So much so that, like, literally, even I must have been in Morocco with my girl, and to kind of get my attention, they're like, "Hey, Jay-Z, hey this, hey that," and it's like, because the idea of blackness is, or at least Western blackness, whatever, right, in pop culture, is these Black American figures, you know. So it's like when people hear these voices or see these people that aren't representations of blackness that they've seen in the media, which is its own messy thing, because even that is like an exaggeration.
It's an exaggeration, but it's a way of like almost commodifying like blackness into one thing where like blackness isn't rigid. Blackness is very much all-encompassing.
And that's the scariest part about the commodification of Black American identity, right? It's gotten to the point where some people align so much with that commodification, that like dejected, like disconnected idea of Black American identity that, you know, white supremacy is putting out, the white media is putting out, right? That they look at other Black people and go, "Nah, you're not Black because you're not this commodified idea that I'm trying to adhere to."
Because even the idea of American blackness, like America, like it's regional. Like somebody from Louisiana isn't the same as somebody from New York.
Exactly.
What tends to happen is that they actually don't put their identity in the African culture, but African American culture. You know, we see in our youth of today, you know, rap, drilling, crime rates are going up because people are identifying with the good parts of African American culture and also the hard parts of African American culture.
The good parts might be like sports. Bad parts is like drug dealing and drilling.
Let me clarify something. What any African family values, we value as well. So when you see anything being done in America that contradicts who we are as African people, that's not African culture. That's European dysfunction. Gangster rap is funded by Caucasians. That's dysfunction. The NBA is owned by Caucasians. That's not Black culture. That's dysfunction. The NFL and the NBA and gangster rap are all ran, owned, and controlled by Caucasians. That is not Black culture.
But why is it stereotype to us then?
What do you
as
mean?
Black people? A stereotype. When you think about basketball, you think about Black people. When you think about NFL, you think about Black people.
Because
when you think about hip hop, you think about Black people.
Who controls the media? So they control the images that go out to the world. And that's why it looks like Black men are only good for entertainment and athletics.
I just want to understand why every conversation of Black people thriving and doing well in America for some fucking reason, right? In the comment section, it always turns into this conversation about how Nigerians should not be considered African American, or Africans in general that grew up in America should not be considered Black American, and that whenever they do these announcements of Black excellence and whatnot, the fact that Nigerians are always in the conversation is kind of annoying because they're not really Black, so they need to stop giving the Black token of Africa. Bro, can we stop? Like, I'm choking, I'm dying. Can we stop? Can we stop? It's sending us back.
My, you sure is tethering tonight. Black Americans, Indigenous American Indians. It is I, Ken Ottaway, the fifth great grandson of Nat Turner, one of the greatest freedom fighters of all time. Listen, my God, today, listen, I am so glad Black Americans are waking up, because what do she mean? What do you mean, my love, that you think it's okay for you as a Nigerian woman to identify as a Black American, or even the misnomer of African American? What do you mean you believe it's okay for you to take credit as an African or a foreigner in general for Black Americans' achievements, past, present, or future? Is there something wrong? Like, do you have low ethnic pride? Why do you think Black Americans don't want to claim their own achievements, that they want to be mixed up with Africans and Caribbeans and people of color and foreigners? Why do you think it's okay that people don't make these distinctions? Like, because, oh man, we've been telling you they want a destiny swap with you. When you delineate, they cannot cosplay. Do y'all understand what's going on? When Black Americans say, no, we did this, right? This is what we did. They want to say, no, they did it, right? And it's so crazy that a lot of these foreigners, these African foreigners, I'm talking about Africans right now, but it could be Caribbeans, it could be anyone. They say Black Americans don't have a culture. They know this narrative, but they want to come here and claim your culture. How insidious. She think it's okay. She said we are setting us back. Us, we're not in no diaspora. We don't see ourselves as African. We don't see ourselves as an immigrant. We are not fighting for the same things. Listen, see, a lot of you are living in delusion. Now, I'm gonna make a video how I grew up as a Black American, but we don't have the same culture. When you come here to the United States of America, you have a culture shock. If you have a culture shock, that means we're not the same. We don't have the same motives. We don't have the same goals. We're fighting for reparations, restorative justice, specific policies for our lineage, birthrights in the United States of America that you claim by lineage, not through being an immigrant, not through being African or Caribbean. And you guys don't advocate for these things for Black Americans in mass. How dare this Nigerian tether say, why can't we all just get along? We're setting us back. Now, Black Americans, you cannot go to Nigeria and just become Yoruba or Igbo. Like, what is she talking about? The disrespect is out of control. But 2026, we're going to set the record straight. It's look, I can't tell y'all what's going on and what's going to happen. There's going to be some stuff this year. It's going to be some stuff. You hear me? It's going to be my. Listen. It's over for y'all. It's over for y'all. She really sat up there begging to be a Black American or African American. See, you know what? I gotta make a video about that term, African American. I gotta make a video about it. Cause it's a gateway. It's a gateway to cosplay. I'm sorry, anybody that identifies as an African American, listen, if you want to be an African American, fine. But y'all, I don't think y'all who keep calling yourselves African Americans, y'all can't be on TikTok and social media or out in the real world talking about you want to delineate and you see what these people are doing, but you allow them to cosplay by having African in your title. Look, it's a bigger conversation. It's a bigger conversation. But like, what is she talking about? She really sat up there begging to be a Black American. That's crazy. Put her on notice. You're a Nigerian immigrant.
So you have this Congolese lady claiming Black Americans like they're her ancestors, claiming Black American history like she's part of the experience. Let me play the video because this is deeper than cosplaying. Like, yeah, check this out.
I was scrolling yesterday and I found myself in a live with a bunch of Black people that were talking about how lazy Black people were. In America, that stereotype was invented after slavery. After our ancestors built this country for free. But when slavery ended, we started our own farms, opened businesses.
But a week ago, this is what she was talking about. This is just a week ago. This is what she was talking about.
Africans in America are not trying to be Americans. We're surviving in a country that forces you to adapt or get left behind. Have you ever heard of assimilation? You think we're cosplaying because you see us speaking English? We're not wearing our tribal clothing? Every immigrant group does it. You think the Chinese are eating duck feet?
Y'all seen how she switched up her look for both of the videos? She's very strategic and intentional. She navigate in and out of identities for survival. This sounds so Lifetime-ish to me, like those Lifetime movies, people pretending to be somebody they're not, or, you know, infatuated with a person that's not infatuated with them. Because what other ethnic groups do stuff like this? Like, you don't see the Japanese claiming Chinese history. You don't see them grouping everybody in as one, even though they share the same race. They're just a different ethnicity with different histories, right? And a different experience. And Lifetime-ish, like the movies.
Because I am not a Black American, well, I am a Black American, no, because I'm African. I was born on the continent of Africa, and I don't have any like parents and heritage that is born here on this continent. I'm not allowed to celebrate Black History Month. It has come to my attention that Black History Month is only for African Americans who are like generationally American, not those of us who came from the motherland to America. I don't know if you guys were aware, but if I told you happy Black History Month this month, if I said anything about Black History Month to you today, I take it back. Girl, bye. I still take it back. I was not trying to offend the diaspora warriors. I would like to go back to my quiet corner of the internet. Thank you.
First of all, one person, because I looked through her comment section, one person told her, you're not ethnically Black, so you don't celebrate Black History Month. One out of almost probably and over 50 million people. And now all of a sudden she's sitting up here making this video. Like, girl, shut up. Y'all want to be like the center of attention so bad. Nobody cares. If one person says something to me, if I was not getting constant comments, similar comments, if I was not seeing a multitude of videos, a bunch of videos, I wouldn't be saying half the stuff I say. If it was just one person, I would be like, No, as a collective, y'all be really popping it bad. Telling us we don't have no history, saying we don't have no culture, saying everything that we've done is attributed to you because somewhere 1,000 years ago, we may have some African ancestry, and it gets to a point. Now, I don't know who, like, I don't know, besides that one person she said that to her, I don't really see us saying, don't celebrate Black History Month, but what I do see is like Africans saying, well, we need to celebrate Africans during Black History Month. And that is what I see, you know, some Black Americans having some pushback. Like, no, we're not going to celebrate Africans in Black History Month because this is Black American History Month. We're in America. It's the same as y'all going to the HBCUs and doing African takeover days and Caribbean takeover days. It's like, why do y'all have to take over the things that we already have? Like, create your own. If you want to create an African History Month, go for it. Now, I don't need y'all saying, well, what country and this country, and I don't know what country she came from. Y'all get to generalize African and call yourselves African and say y'all from the continent when it's convenient. And when we do it, it's World War III. She called herself African. I cannot specifically name whatever country she comes from because she did not say it. But the fact that this is even a thing is crazy to me. Why do we have to share everything? You can celebrate it as long as you're celebrating Black American historical leaders, Black American icons, Black American legends, the accomplishments of Black Americans here in the United States of America. But if you want to come over here talking about y'all created R&B and y'all have soul food too, and jambalaya and jollof is the same thing, and how the banjo, the drums originated in Africa, so y'all created hip hop. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. It's when y'all get to doing stuff like that is when we be like, all right, enough is enough. Enough is enough. You want to get up here and start celebrating Nelson Mandela in February, we ain't got the time for that. But if you want to say happy Black History Month, nobody's stopping you. Y'all just keep trying to colonize things, co-opt and steal things, and make things about you and center yourself. That is where the issue comes in. Like, the whole immigrants build the United States of America. Like, y'all be on that type of time. But stop this. Like, it's not that serious. Nobody's saying. But, I mean, like, just Africans should not be celebrated during Black American History Month. That's it. And y'all get offended for whatever reason. I don't know why. But what y'all think about this? Spread Mr. Brickling.
I don't know who this is going to piss off, and I frankly don't care. I am not African. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being African. I'm not saying that I have a fear of being African. I'm simply stating the fact that my people, my ancestors, have been in America for a very long time. I am a Black American. I am not an African American. We don't even look the same. We just so happen to have Black American features. We are all copper colored people. Yes, there are some light skinned Africans. Yes, there are some dark skinned Americans, but we are all not from the same place. And us recognizing that is not us being disrespectful to anyone's lineage, culture, ethnicity, or race. I have yet to see a Black American be disrespectful, but I have seen Africans come on this app and be completely disgusting, threaten us, call us all out of our names simply because we are acknowledging the fact that we are all not from the same place. I don't understand why it upsets you so much or why it would bother you, but we are all not African. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Black Americans, let me tell you the truth. Out of America, the way people see you is completely different. When people across the world see a black person, one of the first questions they ask is, are you from America, Africa, or from the Caribbean? And that question is not random. It is not just curiosity. It is classification. They are trying to understand your status. Because the moment you say, I am a black American, everything changes. The way they treat you changes, the level of respect changes, and even opportunities can change. And I am telling you this from a real experience. Yes, Africans, not only Nigerians, sometimes try to present themselves as black Americans. They copy the accent of black Americans, the style, the behavior, not because they hate black Americans or they want to erase black Americans, but because of their own survival. They know how the world responds to black Americans. They know the doors that open. They know the level of respect that comes with that identity. So they try to step into that image so they can access those same opportunities. And this did not come from nowhere. This goes back to influence. Global influence. Black Americans have influenced many people. Black Americans have influenced the world in many ways. Their popular music, their movies, their fashion, their language. They have exported the culture to every corner of the planet. So whether people admit it or not, the global image of black excellence is heavily tied to black Americans. So naturally people associate black Americans with success, talent, and sometimes money. Let me give you a real example. I have a friend from Kenya. He went abroad to live in China just because of his studies. So while he was studying in China, there were some gigs, some part-time jobs of teaching English to Chinese kids. And he went for an interview so that he can secure that part-time job. And his English was very perfect, very fluent. After passing the interview, they asked him, are you a black American? Because that is what they thought. By listening to his accent, they immediately thought that he is a black American. They asked him, are you a black American? And he said, no, I'm not a black American. I'm from Kenya. And the reason why that happened is because Chinese think that black Americans are talented, very smart. And they think that Africans and people from the Caribbean are not smart, not intelligent. That is why they refused to hire him. Same skin color, same capability, same language. Recently, I traveled within Africa in one East African country. And in that country that I visited, some of their people kept asking me, are you a black American? Without even speaking anything. Are you a black American? That was the question that kept coming. The moment they thought I was, the energy was different. More attention, more excitement, more care. But when I told them, no, I am an African, I could literally see the shift, not hatred. And that tells you everything. Even in small things like restaurants, there is this belief that black Americans are generous, especially when it comes to tipping. So people get excited to serve you. They associate you with appreciation, with spending, with opportunities. So when they realize that you are not a black American, there is a disappointment. Not because they dislike you, but because they expected something else. And this mindset goes even deeper. In some African communities, if you can speak with an American accent, especially the black American accent, people will look at you differently. They will see you as smart, advanced, intelligent, and even sometimes attractive. I have seen it myself. Even in dating, somebody with a black American accent might get more attention than someone who is speaking a local accent. That is how powerful that perception is. So when you see these Nigerians cosplaying black Americans, Understand this clearly. It is not about disrespect. It is not about conflict. It is about access. It is about trying to benefit from an identity that the world already values at a higher level. They are not always trying to replace you. They are trying to reach what you represent. I can say that Black Americans are respected globally. And whether people admit it or not, Black Americans are respected globally in a very unique way. And that is why all of these Black immigrants, Nigerians, Jamaicans are trying just to get into that space that will make people consider them to be Black Americans. So that was it for today. Let me just hear from you down there in the comment section. If you have enjoyed watching this episode, please don't leave the video without liking it. And you can share it to your friends who might be interested.